Okay, got everything set up here. Alrighty, I probably need to turn off the audio there. Because the sun is kind of shining. Fix that. I'm going to try something new really quick here. Let's add some text. Okay. It's going to have the topic there so people can quickly review what's going on. Yeah. Well, maybe just rename that real quick. Okay. Just do something with that space down there. Alrighty, let's get started here. Okay, so just to cover a few things I changed. Yeah, I like to refer to it as guard stun because that's generally the phrase, the wording we use in Japanese, because blocking is the word they use for parry. So I like to keep things consistent between the two languages as I do develop for games for Japanese companies. But yeah, okay. So why since the last stream, I went ahead and I renamed back and forward, sorry, left and right to back and forward in our input commands, because obviously it doesn't represent right, left and right. It represents moving forward, moving backwards. If I go ahead and launch the game, you can see that. We don't have an input display right now, but yeah. When I press right on the left side, he goes forward, but I'm holding right on the on the right side, he goes back. On the left side, he goes forward. Okay. Et cetera, et cetera. You can see down in the output. Sorry, I just woke up. I'm trying to stream earlier, so it's more convenient for people out in the States. Okay, so as you can see in our debug display, we got hit, stop, hit stun, all those good things, right? When I hit an opponent, stepping through here, they've now transitioned to another state. The bottom line represents the current frame, the current timeline for player 2. And you can see there's 9 frames of hit stop on both sides. I'm going to frame step forward until we're out of hit stop. Hit stop just being the amount of time that two characters pause to indicate a hit. Once that's done, hit stun starts counting down from 25 because it's 25 frames of hit stun. And we're at 1 frame hit stun and back to neutral for the character. Okay, so do we let's do it one more time just to be clear what's going on. So hit stop happens. I'm going to go through all the frames of hit stun. We have 10 frames of hit stun left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Over the bottom, attack end, standing start, which means player 1. I probably should write down the player number for each of those so it's more clear. But it looks like we still have some more frames on player 2. Are they stuck in an action? I had to fix that bug first. Oh, it looks like reaction finally ended. So actually, technically, when hit stun is done, they should go back to neutral. Let's just fix that real quick. I don't know if that's something I broke without realizing it, but basically we're going to do the exact same thing for block stun or guard stun. I might use either or. I'm going to try to stick to guard stun though. Okay, so what's our reaction state? Because we only have one reaction. What we want to do is on update, we want to transition back to neutral. So actually, we must have implemented this in the reaction system instead of there. So hold on. So yeah, we have hit stop, hit stun. When hit stun is 0, we should transition, call common reaction transitions, and go back to neutral. So why is that not working? Let's try that real quick. Let's try looking at that. Oh, because we're just calling common transitions, that's why. So we actually need something else here, which is go back to idle otherwise, right? So, you know, common transitions right now, we rewrote that, right? So what I'm going to do is we want to be able to do all the common transitions, right? All the attacks, all the movement stuff, but also we want to support going to idle. That's going to be the same thing for blocking as well, right? You want to transition the exact next frame into your action. You don't want to have to go through a frame of idle first. It's a common theme I've repeated multiple times here. So we need to add that transition back to idle somewhere, right? So basically, it's going to prioritize any inputs you put in, like walking or jumping or attacking, but otherwise we're going to go back to the idle state. But the problem we see here is this common transitions function I've implemented before, it doesn't really have a return, right? We could always check the transition flag here, right? But I really just want to make this a common theme, so we return true whenever these transitions are actually activated in these transition functions. So it's going to allow us to write a very kind of consistent branching approach in these states. So otherwise, we return false. The problem is Zig does not let us. We're going to see this really quickly. Zig does not let us discard return values unless we're explicit about it, right? See, expression value is ignored, right? So we have to go through here and we'd have to add, again, we have to return the value from this because that's the only thing we're calling technically. What we're gonna do here is we're going to do this and then return true. Otherwise, we're going to transition it to idle, right? So idle is just called standing, right? So that's what we're going to do here. Common reactions to transitions. Okay. Yeah. So otherwise, we're going to transition idle. Oops. And then return true. Or one thing we could just do, well, I just want to make this simple and readable. Since expression value is ignored, oh yeah, don't worry about that. It's just the language server. I don't know why it's like lagged or something. I don't know what the problem with that is. So yeah, we just indicate that we're going to transition to a new state, and we set the state as standing. If any other action has not been chosen already, right? Now, we're still calling this all over the place, right? So we need to make sure that we're actually not discarding that value. For example, here, common idle transitions, again, I'm going to change the format of this. So we'll just return whatever this does here. We don't need to do this. So one thing we can do here is like, yeah, we don't want to do any actions afterwards. So we'll just go return here. So double check all this stuff. Return true. Return. Okay. What was this state? Standing? Okay. Cool. So if we have any okay. So let's see here. This could potentially be a bug here, but this code here is meant to automatically that just indicates that does that. Automatically turn the player to face the opponent when they've changed sides. We just call it character actually. We don't necessarily know it's a player. Okay. So technically, I'm actually rename this because we're not doing that right now. Okay, let's do that real quick. I'm just writing this title here. Okay, so have we updated all those transitions yet? Looks like we have. We don't discard any of the values. I know there's some other places that we need to update. Just give me a second here. A little bit of refactoring to support what we're going to do with guard stun as well. Oops, 135. Oh, okay. Oh, we have a semicolon there. How's everyone doing today? I forgot to ask. I like to get directly into the coding, right? Okay. Bool found, return, This should be bool. Only check for idle action transition on final frame. So right. So we don't want to do this. We want to do. I called it comment. Hold on, let me double check what we're calling this. I don't like the name of that one. Yeah, because we call this on tack, right? Do we have a comment attack transitions? Oh, we do. Why did I call it that? All right. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to rename this to common to idle. Common to idle transitions. Okay. To make it more clear what it does, right? And let's go to there real quick. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to return false here. Oops. And then first we need to check to see if this is true, right? Because we want to transition to all the potential attacks and walking motions and stuff. Otherwise, we're going to return okay, I'm starting to actually not like what I've done here. So what I actually want to do is share this code with stuff. For now, I'm probably going to get rid of, I'm going to rename this function. Common to idle transition. So that's what I want to name it. Yeah. I already named the other one common to idle transitions. Hold on. So naming is important, right? To idle. Because this is just like what gets called when an action is done. So let me call it common idle. Okay. So I'm gonna rename it something better here in a bit, but just to indicate what it is. Honestly, it needs to be something like from attack. So trigger from end of attack transitions. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'll rename it. So basically, this is just for the attack, right? We're only calling it from attack at the moment. So when the action is done, the timeline is done, then we call common transitions. But what I actually want to do is rename this common reaction transitions to something else at the moment. I'm going to rename it. So we're going to rename it common to idle transitions. Right. So that way we know this is going to go into idle states, including being able to do all the attacks and going into idle standing action. Okay. So this returns true no matter what. So technically this is kind of a misdemeanor, but so for now actually we don't even need to return true here. We just need to return early out of this function. Yeah. Okay. Now what are we calling this? Oops. Yeah, we're actually not calling it anywhere here. We're only calling it in the reaction system, right? So I'm going to call it here. Okay. And we're going to reuse this for blocking, block stun as well. If there's any confusing concept about block stun and stuff there, let me know. Or hit stun and block stun. Sorry, my brain is going back and forth about remembering things. I'm trying to explain as much as possible while I'm doing this. Okay. Oops. What is... No, that's the one I'm going to do. What is it? Shift tab? Oops. There's an error here. I don't know what's throwing error. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got trigger end of attack transition. So when end of attack happens, we're going to call common idle transitions, right? Because we can go to idle or anything else. So let's just do that. Oops. Alrighty, we're going to return true. And that function gets called here at the end of an attack. Cool. And then during our... So now it should work. We should go back to idle after hit stun is done. Let's just try that. I'm sure there's a compile error or something around here. Yeah. Okay. Just control click there and jump to that line. It says expression value is ignored. So do we add... oh yeah, we need to check that. So on attack, if that's true, we technically so yeah, here's a priority thing. We have ground collisions happening here or attacks return here. Now, how do I put this? Technically, since it's the last thing, it doesn't need to do this, but yeah. This will prioritize ground collisions over end of attack transition. So hold on, what was that function do? So that means if you're doing a jump attack, right? If you're in the air during a jump. Wait, hold on real quick. Oh yeah. During an attack, if you're on the you're going to prioritize hitting the ground, going into ground collision over an attack. Now it's a decision we can make. Let's just say for now you can directly transition it. We're going to assume you can only transition into ground attacks, right? So prioritize. So we're going to say just other actions we're going to prioritize landing on the ground. Now this could be a bug in other contexts, right? You might want to force characters to go through landing frames, but often in fighting games, you can directly transition into attack as soon as you hit the ground. Okay, so these are just little bits of knowledge about fighting games that I'm sprinkling in all over the place. I'm sorry to quickly just like uh, go, not what I want to say is I want to point out these things are important, but I'm quickly going over these little small bits of knowledge. So sorry if it's not extensive enough. Okay, cool. So let's test our hit stun now. What should happen? Whoops. What happened? Attack immediately transitions back to idle. What's going on? What did we mess up? So technically you shouldn't even be hitting this, but let's try that again. That's really weird. Looks like we're transitioning after the first frame of an attack. Everything's going good here. Okay, whoops. Let's do this again. Yeah, so something's really weird here. What does it say? What does our context say? Context. If time like opponent frame lapse is less than, oh, yeah. One thing we could do is just go, but once we've reached the duration of the attack, then we transition to idle. So that's obviously the problem. Okay. I kind of inverted the logic that I had there previously. Okay, that works now. Make sure everything's fine. We're on the final frame. Next frame is idle. Great. That's what we expect. And if you watch the yellow block, that's what frame we're on. Okay, we're in hit stun now. Gonna get to the final frame of hit stun. And then player 2 should be an idle. They are. You can see those two actions are the same length. Okay, cool. So our block stun has been fixed. Let's just go ahead and commit that. Okay. Okay. So yeah, actually I'm gonna come here and say we fixed this real quick, just so we have it marked. Actually, I want to check for one more thing before we commit. We should thoroughly test these things, right? Do I have another? Where's my other controller? Make sure this works. My USB port in the front has had issues, so I'm not sure if that will be an issue or not. So let's go ahead and boot the game, because I know I did support player 2, right? Okay. Can everyone hear me fine, right? Just make sure. Okay. I guess I did not support player 2. What did I support player 2 as? Or maybe this is not set up to read the controller. Is this the one? Not that one. Yes, it's not. Probably because of it's like a Windows thing, right? I have to. Was it this one? Let's try it again. I always forget about these 8-bit controllers. What you're supposed to do. I wish I had an Xbox controller here, honestly. Let's see if it works with the PS5. Oh, there we go. So player 2 works now. Great. Fantastic. Okay. So the thing I want to test is make sure we can actually transition to anything that other than idle during hit stun. So, whoops. Let's do that real quick. Okay. So, go through all the frames of hit stun. On the final frame, I should be able to hit a button, right? And go into like the attack or something. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Okay, hold on. That was the wrong controller. So go through all the frames, hit stun. Final frame, press the button. And I'm going to attack. Great. That should work. I'm going to try jump just for posterity's sake. I'm holding up. And the character's jumping. Great. Fantastic. That works. Okay, let's go ahead and commit that just to get out of the way. We had common states, reaction system. Go ahead and submit. Planning as well. I think that's all we need to submit. Okay. So made hit reaction transition to idle to when hit stun is over. Made the hit reaction transition to idle state when hit stun is over. Okay. Makes sense. I'm just going to go ahead and push that. Okay, so now we want to support guard action and guard stun. Right now we only have a reaction. We don't have a guard reaction. Let's just copy the reaction state, right? All right. We don't have block or guard, right? Okay, so the first thing let's do is let's create the guard action. So it's gonna work basically the same, right? Except we're not going to check hit stun. We're going to check guard stun. So let's just call it guard reaction. And we could potentially rename this to hit reaction later. Okay, so we're going to do all this stuff. And it's not going to really do anything because our reaction system is going to handle the blocking. But it's going to say this for now. Is there a way in Zig for me to get just the function name? Like you could do with macros and C++, so I can easily add debug information. But anyway, I'm just going to do this for now. So it's not going to do anything really fancy here. All our work's going to be handled in the reaction system. Okay, so you see here when we have a hit event, right? It's just going to always go into hit stun and apply hit stop, hit stun, knockback, all these things. But we want a special case for blocking, guarding. Hey, what's up, Backdrift? Just working on some guard stun stuff, block stun stuff. So let me rename our topic real quick. I want a little, it'd be nice to have a little input window for me to easily change these. Okay. 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 Here we go. So, what do I want to do here? Well, let's go check our hit event. I think what we did was in our collision system, we set up a hit event, right? So collision phase, we have hit events. This stuff got pretty complicated. Hit events. What do we use this? We append a hit event whenever the hitboxes collide. So at some point we have to decide whether or not a hit is going to be a block, is it going to be a guard, or is it going to be an actual hit where you go into a hit stun. The second question is, where do we actually determine that? Do we determine that in the collision system, or do we determine it in the reaction system? So, and also, how do you decide whether or not a hit is blocked whether or not a hit is guarded or is it not guarded. Let's just think about the trade-offs real quick. So if we did it in the collision system, or any system that knows is going to be assigning the type of hit, it's going to have to have knowledge of the input from the player, right? So if we're doing a collision system, we now have to introduce input into processing of hitboxes, which is like, controller input is like, is that a necessary thing? My basic assumption was like, no, we don't need to add that kind of complication. It shouldn't be necessarily aware of that context. So I think what I want to do is we're just going to record the hit event, and then we'll go into the reaction system, and the reaction system will determine which action it goes into, right? Whether that be currently our single hit reaction or a block. It does mean the reaction system will either need to know about the player input, right? Or we could turn on like something like a guard flag. So we could have some processing step where a flag is set whether or not a player is currently guarding high or guarding low. But also we'd have to know which direction they're guarding, so it's going to become more complicated. There's certain contexts where you're walking forward and you maybe want the game to guard, right? Because in traditional fighting games, you hold backwards to block things, but there are cross-up situations, right, where maybe your character is still technically marked as walking forward, but you're holding the direction that's opposite of the player attacking. I guess that's so. If the player may be on this side of you, and you're walking towards them, technically, well, you're on this side, and you're still walking forward this way, but technically that's guarding, right? Because they're on this side, and they attack and hit you. So, depending on the frame timing, it could be an issue there. It's something we'll talk about more in a bit or later. So, anyway, our basic assumption is we're going to support transitioning into guard in the reaction system. So we don't have to worry about changing anything in the collision system, because our reaction system's main responsibility is setting up hit stun, setting up guard stun, and having the character transition into the appropriate action, whether that be a guard action or a block action. Okay, so some place here we need to branch and then assign hit stun or block stun depending on the situation, right? And we're actually going to need to add block stun properties to the attack. So actually, let's go to our where is our properties for the stuff? Oh, here it is, hit stun. So we have hit stun, hit stop, knockback. Okay, let's just go through here, and we're going to assume hit stop's going to be the same for block and hit right now. You don't necessarily need it to be the same. You may actually want to differentiate it, but for now, we're just going to add the guard stun property. We might add unique properties for guard later, but for now, we're just going to have a single value. Okay. And that's just the hit event, right? So we're just going to copy the hit event, the guard stun value to hit stun. Where is... Then hit stun is assigned value from the reaction component hit stun. When there is a hit stun, use the hit stun from the last hit for drawing the timeline. Oh, okay, don't worry about that for now. We have to go through and update this kind of stuff later. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and add the value here for debugging. So we had hit stop, hit stun. We want to add guard stun to our list of debuggable things, so it's easy for us to see what's going on. Okay. I'm just going through here and finding where all guard stun is used. Oh, we were just manually setting guard stun now. I guess we don't have hit properties right now. Okay. Let's just assume guard stun is shorter. So that means a lot of attacks will be negative as far as frame advantage goes. If you don't know what frame advantage is, we'll talk about that later. So we have not actually set up hit properties yet per attack. That's something we'll do in the future. Currently we only have a single attack, so it doesn't really matter that much. But we'll get to that. Okay. So, oh yeah, we have some debug color stuff. I forget how we turn that on. We'll come back to that in a bit. Okay. So, I want to do something similar here for blocks guard stun, where we draw debug timelines. So I'm just going to go ahead and support that. Let's write. So guard stun. It's going to hit. Okay. What else we got here? Oh yeah, so we need to apply knockback as well for guard stun, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use the same rules for guard and hit for knockback right now. So we're going to say if or, basically, hit stun or guard stun, and we're going to apply the knockback. And now our reaction system, we need to update for block stun. So we have similar code here. Let's just add guard stun to it. Actually, I'm not gonna do if else. I'm suggesting technically we should not have both guard stun and hit stun at the same time. That would be a bug. That would be an invalid state. They should be mutually exclusive. I want to to indicate mutually exclusive states of the game. If we somehow got in that state, something weird's happened. But yeah, so so this is actually kind of redundant here. No, it's not really that redundant. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna reduce guard stun the same way we reduce hit stun every frame when it's above 0, and when it's 0, we go back to idle. Okay, and what else? Make sure we haven't missed anything else. Guard stun. Oh yeah, we need to actually assign all those values, right? So if actually, we still need to determine whether or not a move is hit or guard, right? So hold on really quick. I'm just gonna say was hit equals true for now, and what we'll do is say if it was a hit, we're gonna say the action is gonna be the reaction state, the reaction action, else it's gonna be block. Otherwise it's guarded. Or say let's do the opposite actually. Was guarded. Set the false for now. If it was guarded, we go into guard reaction, right? And otherwise we go to reaction. Okay. And then we only care about hit stun in the case of a reaction. I wish this pasted automatically tabbed here. Otherwise we want to set block stun, right? Guard stun. Guard stun, oops. to guard stun. Did we actually give this thing a guard stun yet, though? Yeah, we don't have guard stun yet. So guard stun is going to be the same I-32, defaulting to 0. Anything else we've missed? So in there. Where do we use this total hit stun thing? Okay, we're gonna make this total guard stun. And hold real quick. I want to make total guard stun. Oops. Total guard stun. I-32. This is debug information. And just update. Okay. Now we don't have any code for actually determining whether or not block works yet. So let's just toggle that bool and see what happens. Oh, okay. What did I mess up here? Oh. C++ mind. Okay, so here we are. I can attack the opponent. We saw it in the bottom here. They went to reaction, etc., etc. Make sure hit stun still works as expected. We tick along to the last frame. Go back to idle. Okay, so let's try guard stun now. Go back to reaction system. Let's toggle this to true. What? Oh. We forgot something. Okay. We have to add a common state here and support that. We have a lot of code for this stuff. Where's the common state ID definition at? Here? Okay. Do we do a switch on this somewhere to determine where we go? I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Oh, and they're gone. Let me check this real quick. What are we doing with this? Okay. It all makes sense there. Is there anything else we have to do with combat state, though? We don't do a switch, right? No, we don't do a switch. Okay. I'm not sure what happened with the character. They went flying on guard stun. That was weird. Let's try that again. Ooh. Coffee needs to be a little bit stronger. Okay. Bug fixing time. Oh, on hit, they're just gone. They're just disappeared. Why is it so weird with that? So we set guard stun to this, hit stun to this. Then we set hit back, hit stop, hit knockback, hit stop. That's all the same. So what do we do differently? Do we check hit stun somewhere else and then we don't do stuff unless hit stun is set? Let's check that real quick. Game simulation. If reaction stun is greater than 0 or reaction component guard stun is greater than 0. That's the thing we changed for knockback, right? If I delete this real quick, what happens? Well, it's also weird that it was still hit stop. So guard knockback should not affect it. So I would not expect the bug that we saw before. Yeah, that's not the bug. Oh, let's try one more time. Because I think it instantly disappeared. Yeah, just gone. Just gone, right? So that's not the bug. Was it something we changed here? This is for color. This is for that. This is also debug. What do we change? A little stumped what broke here. Well, one thing we could do is make sure we're actually in that state, right? The guard stun state. So, yeah. The fun part, handling bugs. Guard reaction, okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I have an idea. What is this malarkey? Oh yeah, we forgot to set up. Yeah. So we forgot something entirely. We need to set up the actual state here as well. Forgot about that. Boilerplate. I wish I can get rid of this boilerplate somehow. Using something a little more clever. Just like register, like a one function call. I could do it with like something at comp time probably. So yeah, we have to register the state as well. Forget about that. I don't want to do this for any future state. It doesn't make me happy. Okay, here we go. So does that fix our bug? And I probably should have put an assert there if it doesn't exist. I should be using more asserts in general. Okay, let's try this now. They're still just gone. Just gone. Well, they came back though. During hit stop, they're gone. Is there something we're doing with drawing? That's weird. Guard reaction, update, guard reaction, on update, guard reaction, guard reaction. Okay. What the heck is going on here? This probably should all be const as well, but okay, I just want to go through all these things and see if I see anything weird. We set that all up. Attack was hit. Oh. Okay, never mind. It's a mystery. Why during hit stun is it like that? During block stun, sorry, during guard stun. Chill background music. Yeah, whatever doesn't get me copyright stricken, right? I don't know what I could do about that. What's not booting? What's going on? Oh, there we go. Let's do some quick troubleshooting on this. Why is it disappearing during hit stun? Or guard stun, I guess. So it says guard reaction start here, right? Stepping through all the frames of guard stun. And we're on the final frame, and they're back. It said guard reaction on start, guard reaction on end. We have special code for... It's really weird. Frankly, it's really weird. We don't have any debug information about position, right? Okay. Oh, we do. We do. Oops. All I need to do is put breakpoint inside the guard reaction here. No, go there. Oh, you. Okay. That's not gonna do me any good. Let's go back to the reaction system. We could be anywhere honestly, but we're just gonna go here during guard stun is greater than 0, because it's definitely gonna hit here if we have guard stun. Okay, and let's look at the context we got here. We should have reaction. Well, yeah, let's look at the game state. Look at physics components real quick. We should look at the position. So the player 2 isn't really far, honestly. This is just like it's only 150 units plus. This is like our default position, right? So what's going on? I think we have maybe it's our drawing code that's messed up. Okay. I mean, if we break here again, we're going to see that the position's even farther because we've been pushed back a little bit, right? So, yeah. Damn. Let's see. So I'm assuming it's our drawing code. I didn't think we had any special drawing code for hit stun, other than shaking during hit stop, but let's look at it real quick. Yes, when shake is above 0 at shake, we get this stuff here, but hold on. What do we draw? Yeah, begin drawing. We draw character hitboxes. Then we draw a timeline. Then we draw text. What do we draw the characters at? A prepared draw state. Okay, cool. With the screen position, X, Y, game data, state machine, current state. Oh, I know the problem. We forgot to add data for actually the hit reaction. So let's open up our character data. Is this it? No. What do we put our data at? It's in assets, test character 1. Okay. So reaction. Yeah, we actually need to hit guard reaction for this too. Completely forgot about that. So this is just like our metadata related to actions. So we can have hitboxes. Duration doesn't really matter because it gets ignored entirely because we're using the hit reaction. Timeline, we're just using, we just have an image sequence. So stand. Just make sure it's as long as the timeline is itself. We should be good. So if this works, we need to implement checking left-right input for guarding. For now, we're gonna ignore high-low because we don't have hit properties per action yet. So we'll get to that. Okay, look. Actually, the player attacking shouldn't be shaking like this. I'm going to fix that real quick, too. But yeah, it looks like that works. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, though. So what we want to do is... I don't like... Okay. Was it const reaction equals this? It shouldn't make a copy. Hopefully it doesn't. But yeah, let's make sure reaction. If reaction dot hit stun or reaction dot guard stun is greater than 0. Whoops, I can't. But can we yeah, we can do that. Great. Since I use my keyboard more, to be honest. Okay. So what? So if during. So basically, character shakes if they're in hit or guard stun, and it's during hit stop only, right? So I'm gonna check that. Then we can check left and right inputs to determine whether or not we go into a particular state. What happened there? Oops. Put the in the wrong place. Honestly, we should check hit stop first. And put a parentheses around that. Okay, there we go. So yeah, the character getting hit is the only one that shakes now. Cool. Now we want to check for left-right input. Let me update this real quick. Okay. So one of the cool things is I think we already implemented a back input function just for seeing whether or not we're pressing back depending on facing. But actually, the way I want to implement it is not based on facing. I want to implement it based on whether or not your opponent's on your left or right side. So it doesn't matter which way you're facing. You still can block back or forward, even if you're walking. Whoa, that was weird. Something loud popped here. That was a really loud sound. I don't know what that was. But yeah, so we're going to have to check what side the player's on to determine which way is back and which way is forward for guarding purposes. So we're just going to do that in the reaction system for now, like I mentioned before. So we need to get the input component, right? So we have game state input components. Let's get the input component for this player. Yeah, defender ID. So let's get the input component. Const input equals, I think it's input components, right? Input components. Yeah. Okay. And then we're actually going to need the attacker's position and the defender's position. So for now, let's just say position equals, it's game dot, sorry, I think it's physics components. It's hit event dot attacker ID. Yeah, let's do defender position defender ID, and that's going to be dot, is it position or is it location? I forgot what we named it. Velocity, position. Okay, we name it position. Alrighty. That's great. Okay. So we have the defender position, attacker position. And we just need to check whether or not the attacker is on. So we're going to assume the normal state is left, right. So facing right is the normal state. The flip state is facing right. So what we want to check to see is if the attacker position dot x is less than defender position dot x. Next, what we're going to do here is we're going to make this a const. Attacker on left side, and we'll do that, and then we'll need to flip which inputs need to be handled. So one of the tricky things now is we actually flip inputs based on facing, so we need to undo that here. Or you could store it separately. I don't want to go through and store left-right input separately for this. So let's say first of all, let's just write it as simple as we can right now. So let's say oh, we need to know whether or not they're flipped or not. Okay, so instead of doing this, let's just take the entire physics component. And then we'll just do dot position, and then oops, it should have been attacker physics dot position, and then defender physics dot position. Okay, there we go. We got attacker on left side, and then we need to check to see if the player is facing left or right. Then we can undo the input. So the basic rule here is, okay, let's say defender physics dot facing, is it flipped? Is it what the no, that's not what I want to do. What is our physics component? We have facing component now. I don't care about that. We want facing left is what I want to check. Okay, so facing left is the important value. Okay, so what I'm going to do, why is this tab's all messed up here? Okay, so I want to check to see if their input is left or input is right. First of all, because we're thinking about the natural state of things. So is input left for blocking? Well, if the attacker is not facing left, right? Well, we can say first thing, if they're facing left and the input is back, and input dot, what is our input component as well? Huh. Okay, hold on. This is getting annoying. Okay. Input components, dot entity, input command. Okay, that's what it's called. Wish our auto completion was actually working better. Input command dot back. So they're facing left, and input command is forward actually. Well, no, back. They're facing left, so it's back. Will give us input left, right? There's two options of this though. Either that is true, or oops, I want you to do that. Either that is true, or I think we can do this. I forget what it is in Zig. It's not the way you write. Too much English here. I've now forgot how to write not in Zig. I think that works. And input command is forward. So you're facing left or you're not facing left. If you're facing right and your command is well, no, that's wrong. If you're facing left, your command is forward, yeah. Then it's yeah. If your command's forward, then that's right. Okay. So I'm gonna break down this logic more simply here in a bit. So is input right? I'm just getting the pieces together. Then I can kind of like put it all together later. So if you're facing left and your input is back, and it's going to be forward, so it's opposite for each. Okay. So now we can determine whether or not an attack was guarded, right? I'll just make this const and not bool as well, because that's C++. Okay. Now, so either, so we're gonna make this really simple. So either the opponent was on the attacker. So the attacker is on the left. Let's say const was guarded. So either attacker is on the left side and is input right, or attacker on left side is not true and is input left, because that means on the right side and you're blocking. Okay, I think that's correct. I'm not sure the syntax is entirely correct for Zig, but we'll roll with it for now. See if we can actually get that working. So not input command. Oh, it's lowercase. I did that again, where I just like okay. Another. Wait, what? Oh, my bad. I forgot to get the element from it. Okay, let's try this. Now, when I walk up normally, you should see a lot of like 25 plus, well, 25 blocks to indicate 25 frames hit stun if I just attack, right? No matter what side I'm on. Okay. Now, if as a defender, if I'm walking back when it attacks, you should get the block stun. And you can see at the bottom too. You can see or guard stun. You can see we got guard stun here. Okay. I was holding back. Let's try going forward. Clearly that's hit stun here. It's actually a bug here. What doesn't reset the velocity on hit? That's interesting. I'll deal with that in a bit. hit stun. Okay, let's try left side. I'm on the left side now as player 2, and I hold back. I get guard stun, as you can see in the bottom there. Walk forward, I get that. Okay, that works. I guess there's another test. I haven't done jump reactions yet. We'll do that next time. Oops. Now I'm really bad at doing this. Okay. If I jump over the character, they fall to the floor because I don't support that yet. Okay, cool. So we've supported guard stun. There's a bunch of other things that would go into an actual guard reaction, including looping certain animation sections, such as like holding up a pose like this and then returning to neutral. That's things you'd have to account for in an actual game. We haven't got there yet. I think we'll get to... I don't know if we'll do animation sections, looping, things like that anytime soon, but it would be something nice to demonstrate though. Okay. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll go ahead and submit those changes. I'm not entirely satisfied with doing something like this, right? Because, well, I would probably change this to a utility function on top of our input component, so that you can say, oh, is it holding left? Is it holding right? Because logically, often you want to check that directly and not necessarily forward or back. I might do that off stream. But anyway, yeah, thanks for coming by. Till next time, hope you all have a nice rest of your day. I'll be trying to figure out what to do with my free time here. So anyway, peace out. Again, thanks for dropping by. See ya.